What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Eddie Knight. This is Nerdy Before It Was Cool, where we talk TV and film, especially ones based on comic book characters, man. Last video, we talked about all the DC movies that are coming out, and I ranked those by anticipation, so I gotta get into all the Marvel flicks and shows that are coming out, and I'm gonna rank those by my anticipation. This includes the MCU shows, movies, as well as the Sony Marvel movies coming out. So let's get right into it. At the bottom of my list for number 9, it's going to have to be Miss Marvel. It's going to be a series on Disney+. Now, Miss Marvel is a fairly new Marvel character in general, even to the comics. And honestly, I don't know much about her character, which is the reason why I have her ranked so low. It looks like it could be enjoyable, but when I see a teaser trailer of a character that I've never heard of, I'm looking for something that's really gonna catch my eye and really pique my interest. They put out 2 teaser trailers for Miss Marvel, and neither of them have really done that for me. I won't write this series off just yet. Like I said, it could be enjoyable, but whenever this official trailer comes out, I'm expecting something really eye-catching. If they're gonna expect me or anyone else who've never heard of this character to be excited about watching a full TV show about her. That's just my opinion. You might be excited about this. Let me know if you are down in the comments. Coming in at number 8, we got Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Now, I actually do really love the Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is one of my favorite MCU movies to date, and I really love Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as well. I think their bright vibrancy and kind of the outcast mentality of Peter Quill, and honestly, all of them really bring something that was much needed to the MCU. But this isn't Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it's just a Christmas special. And like I said in my DC video, I do love Christmas special movies and things that I can add to my Christmas watch list, but there's just not much out there about this thing. We don't really know how it ties into the MCU or if it even does. Some people say that's going to be showing what they were doing while we didn't see them in the previous movies, but I guess we'll see. But with no information, I can't be too excited. Whatever it is, I just hope it's fun. And for number 7, we got the Disney Plus series SheHulk. Now, the little interest I have in this comes from all of the people that they're bringing in and bringing back. They're bringing back Abomination, as well as the actor who played him from the original Hulk movie back in the day that Marvel and the MCU tries to act like doesn't exist. So I'm excited to see that. They have Mark Ruffalo reappearing as the Hulk, and they have my guy Josh Segura popping up as well. Now, I haven't seen any information on who Josh Segura is going to be playing, but I really like him as an actor. That season where he was involved was one of my favorite seasons of Arrow. I thought it was extremely well done. Well, my frustration with this She-Hulk show kind of comes in is Mark Ruffalo, along with the fans, have been asking for a Hulk solo film or a Hulk solo show for the longest, and they skipped my boy Mark Ruffalo and just went right on to She-Hulk. And honestly, I can't see where this is a logical decision unless the MCU and Mark Ruffalo have sat down in the past and discussed his future, and he possibly says that eventually he's looking to get out of this stuff pretty soon. That's the only reason that I could even think that this show would be a possibility. I'm sure they're gonna work her into the larger world of the MCU, but with Hulk already there, I just don't see why, really. But who knows, man. Kevin Feige usually has a really good plan, and I'm willing to see what he has in store for it, but it just makes no sense, especially if you're gonna bring back the original Abomination from the old Hulk movie. I just find it a little bit disrespectful that you bring it back for a She-Hulk miniseries and not an actual Hulk project, because that would have been their official way to actually tie in and somehow at least canonically make parts of that original Hulk movie canon. And I feel like they're kind of missing out on an opportunity to do that, but once again, that's just my opinion. So for number 6 on the list, we got Sony's Morbius. Now, they put out the original trailer for this thing 2 years ago. I remember watching a movie in 2020 and seeing this trailer come on. It's been pushed back multiple times, and I don't really know why. It's been rumors that it's going to be reshoots and there's going to be an end credit Andrew Garfield scene, which who knows if these rumors are going to actually be true, but I guess we'll see. I don't really understand all of the pushbacks on this movie because this movie was never meant to be like a grand scale epic. It was always going to be kind of a B superhero movie. And I was really excited to see this when I first heard about it, but as they kept pushing it back and pushing it back, it's just taking away a little bit of excitement for me. And they're also working against themselves. Now this movie is gonna have to be pretty damn epic for it actually to be worth the wait. It's directed by Daniel Espinosa. I'm not extremely familiar with his work, but I have seen Safe House with Denzel Washington, and I really did enjoy that movie. His directing style is pretty unique. He does some pretty cool things behind the camera that I'm interested to see play out with this horror element. Sources say that this is still going to be a rated R movie. And I think with a character as dark as Michael Morbius, I think that's a good idea, but I could understand them wanting to make it PG-13 so they could make as much money off of this thing as possible, because we are in a pandemic and not a lot of people are willing to go out to a movie theater if it's not something that's like, you know, Spider-Man No Way Home level. I want to see this. I haven't written it off completely like a lot of people. I think it will be solid. I just wish they would stop pushing this thing back, and hopefully this April release date is the final pushback. So for number 5, we got Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I'm sad that this is kind of middle of the pack for me. I wish I could be a little more excited about this film because Ryan Coogler is back to direct and I love his style, but I just haven't really heard anything that would make me want to put this any higher on my list. They originally wanted to have Shuri back as Black Panther, and that was their plan until she got in trouble on social media with sharing her political beliefs. So Marvel went another direction with her in general. I don't even think she's going to be in this film. Now it seems like the status quo is that M'Baku is going to be the one taking up the mantle for Black Panther. And if you're going to go that route of someone taking up the mantle from T'Challa, I think that that is the best bet with M'Baku. I don't know. Hear me out, guys. I have an unpopular opinion on this, but I think T'Challa should be recast. I love and respect Chadwick Boseman as much as the next person. He's one of my favorite actors. Your boy definitely shed a tear when I heard the news that he passed away. But I just think recasting is the smart and beneficial move. Will a few people's feelings be hurt? Sure. But just imagine if when the actor who played Dumbledore passed away, if instead of bringing in and recasting a new Dumbledore, they brought in some random dude named Vandersnatch who acted as if he was Dumbledore, but he wasn't actually Dumbledore. It would be weird. When they first introduced the Black Panther character, they already had an arc in mind for him. Now they're scrambling to find an alternative that both makes sense for the story narratively as well as is going to please the fans, and that's fighting a real uphill battle. I know in the comics different people have taken up the mantle of Black Panther, but come on, T'Challa is the most well-known Black Panther, as well as, in my personal opinion, the best Black Panther stories are the ones about T'Challa, not anyone else who took up the mantle. That's just my opinion, guys. What do you think about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever? Should they have recast T'Challa? Should they go in a different direction and let someone else take up the mantle? I'd love to hear your opinion on it down in the comments. All right, so now we're getting into the 4 that I'm super excited to see, and as of right now, have no reason to doubt them. Taking that number 4 spot is gonna be Thor: Love and Thunder. Taika Waititi is back to direct, man, and I really do love his directing style. I love Thor Ragnarok. I know a lot of people hate the revamp of Thor and how they made him kind of goofy. I actually really love that film. I think it balances tragedy and comedy pretty well. Although I will say sometimes the jokes went a little overboard, just a little bit. If he can just reel it in like 15-20%, I think this movie will be perfect. We got Christian Bale coming in to play a villain, Gore the God Butcher of all villains. And on top of that, we got Russell Crowe and Matt Damon in this movie, man. I've been excited for movies before and they went wrong, but as of right now, I just have no reason to doubt this film. I am wondering how they're going to adapt the Lady Thor storyline and if they're going to stick to the comics or put their own spin on it. Obviously, we have Natalie Portman returning, so we'll see what they do with that. But like I said, I'm excited for this one, man. And in number 3, we got Moon Knight, Marvel's Batman with superpowers and a dissociative personality disorder. I know if you're a Moon Knight fan, you're vigorously typing right now, like, he's more than that, relax, I'm just playing. I'm only vaguely familiar with the Moon Knight comics. To my knowledge, he goes on an Egyptian excursion, and on this excursion, he died, and then his body was inhabited by an Egyptian moon god. So basically, during the day, he is himself, When the night comes, he gets all these powers from the moon, being he is inhabited by an Egyptian moon god. I don't know if it's exactly this way in the comics or not. Moon Knight fans, let me know in the comments. They have him struggling with dissociative personality disorder. So basically when Moon Knight takes over, he has no memory of the things that Moon Knight does. Now, when I saw Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke, that's all I really needed to know. Then I saw this teaser trailer and it was amazing. Now, this is how you do a teaser trailer introducing a character that the mainstream audience doesn't know much about. I haven't seen Ethan Hawke in anything in a while, so I'm really excited to see what he brings to this. And also, Moon Knight's a pretty disturbed guy. He's pretty dark, so I'm interested to see in how dark the MCU is willing to go, especially on a show that's gonna be on Disney+. Now with these next two, honestly, they're pretty interchangeable for me, but let's go ahead and get into number 2, the runner-up, Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. This is the follow-up to the widely loved Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. Now, Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse is a lot of people's favorite all-time Spider-Man movie. It was an amazing film, and it made me a person who isn't even really a huge fan of the Miles Morales character, and it made him really interesting for me. That art style really changed the game as far as visuals go. It literally felt like a comic book. Although I don't have much on the synopsis and what's gonna happen in this film, I have no reason to doubt that this is gonna be good. Now, is it gonna be better than the first? Probably not. Now, the main thing that has me hype about Across the Spiderverse is my favorite Spider-Man iteration of all time is gonna be in this film, and that's Spider-Man 2099. It's like Marvel's version of Batman Beyond. They're like kind of hand in hand for me. I've loved every animated show who's included him. My favorite appearance of Spider-Man 2099 was back on the Ultimate Spider-Man series when they basically did their own version of Into the Spiderverse way before the actual movie came out. And it was an amazing 2-part episode that I really, really loved. And I was in college at the time, so it wasn't even like I was a kid. I thought it was extremely well done, and it's by far my favorite episode from that Ultimate Spider-Man series. Now let's go ahead and get into the one that we've all been waiting for, man. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I've been more excited about this film than I was for Spider-Man No Way Home. See, all the stuff that happened in No Way Home with the new villains and our heroes returning, I thought all of that was actually going to happen in this movie. I theorized that like a year ago on my podcast. I'm interested to see this movie because I like how they have done Doctor Strange's character when he is around other heroes. He can play that stern, stoic guy, but in his own movie, they kind of made him a little jokey, and I just thought it contradicted his personality that they set up for him. So I'm interested to see if they really have his character down yet. And on top of that, I'm just so ready for all the possibilities that could come out of this movie. I love when comic book movies and comics in general start branching off and getting weird and mystic and dealing with magic and the mystic arts, and Doctor Strange is the perfect character to do that. There's so many theories swirling around this movie. A lot of scoopers, some of which have been pretty credible and have been known to be right in the past, are saying that Ben Affleck has been approached to make a cameo as his Daredevil from back in the day. And that'll be crazy. A lot of people are theorizing that this is going to actually bring in the X-Men, Fantastic Four, or anybody. The possibilities are really endless, man, and that's the main reason I'm just so excited to see this movie. But anyways, yeah, that's gonna be my number 1, and this is my list. Let me know down in the comments your list of all the Marvel properties that you're ready to see in 2022. If you made it to the end, I assumed you liked what you saw, so if you did, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Anyways, it's your boy Eddie Knight, and this is Nerdy Before It Was Cool, and I'm out.